We still catch Savannah, with all her glory, dropping the F-bomb. And I have to tell her that is a grown folks word. You were not allowed to use that word, so stop using it. But I'm not going to be one of those parents who think that my kid is an angel and doesn't drop the F-bomb or cuss or anything else. Because there's a lot of parents out there who think that their kids don't say things, Welcome to this beautiful struggle.
I'm excited about it.
We finally have gotten to a point where we're just ready to share unfiltered our lives. Infertility is tough. Adoption is tough. But then even talking about like me losing my dad, you losing your mom within a couple of years of each other, our kids losing grandparents, your career and my career, and then making the ultimate decision to move to Nevada and what that looks like, moving away from all of your friends and family and all of those things.
Hopefully people can resonate with our story and just letting people know that they're not alone.
It's not the norm, and infertility is something that people don't ever want to talk about. Our family is such a hot mess, Express. I mean, this is just what it is, right? Like, so we don't have to front anymore.
It's been a long time coming. Hi, and welcome to this beautiful struggle. I'm Casey.
And I'm Erin. And we have been getting so many questions from you all, which we love. So keep them coming. But this episode, we are just going to answer some of your questions. So if you have submitted a question via email or Instagram or reached out to us at all, hopefully today is your day that we will answer your questions. So I have a bunch here. So we're going to kind of go through them. And oh my God, there's so many good ones. Okay, first question. If your family had a theme song that played every time you walked into the room, what would it be?
For a theme song for me?
For us.
Or for the whole family?
For us. What would be our theme song? I mean, I can
the
think
theme
of...
song from Family Matters.
Okay. Sing it.
No. No. I'm a police officer, not a singer.
I'm trying to think. I mean, a theme song. Okay, Family Matters, but I also feel like, that song. This is the song that never ends. It keeps going on and on, my friends. I feel like that about my life. Like my life, it's just, so it just depends on the day, But then I also think of songs like Overcomer, or, you know what I mean? Like we've been through so much, I don't know.
I think of that. I can think of No Weapon Formed Against Me Shall Prosper.
Oh, yes. I love that one. No,
it feels like that sometimes as well,
sing.
Too. Yeah,
I shouldn't sing.
Let's not do that.
Okay, here's one that I thought was interesting, but I haven't really thought about it. Maybe we should have thought about the answers before, but then that wouldn't have been as... Okay, so ready? What's the silliest argument that we've ever been in? I think for me, we get in a lot of silly arguments, honestly. I will say that since Casey retired, we don't argue as much. And I think that just is because he's home more and more present. So I don't have 50 million reasons to be irritated. And not necessarily with you, but just irritated with the circumstance of it's just me and the kids or whatever, right? So like I feel like we actually do. I mean, but when we argue, it's always something dumb. So the silliest thing we've ever argued about.
I don't know.
I think I don't want to say I pick fights. He will say that I pick fights, but I think I get irritated when he makes facial expressions, right? And then I'll be like, why'd you make that face expression? He'll be like, what are you talking about? I didn't know I made a facial expression. I'm like, well, you just did. And he was like, well, what does it look like? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And then we'll get in this big old blowout over this facial expression. It's always just something silly. I feel like that for us. Yeah. You pick fights with me too, though. Oh my God. Someone says, who's more likely to forget an anniversary? Have you not listened? You guys must have missed that. Me, my memory is
it's definitely not me.
My memory
it's definitely not me.
Is horrific. Okay.
She can barely remember how old she is some days, so.
Shut up. Once you're over 40, you don't remember. I remember now I'm 43, but only because we just had this conversation recently. So I know I'm 43. But if you would have asked me this a week ago, I would have said I was 44.
See? She don't know.
Who said I love you first? I think we talked about this already.
We did. Yeah, I think so.
I think it was you.
No, it wasn't. So let's just clear that up right now. It was not
It was
me.
probably me.
It was Erin. It
definitely
wasn't
me.
probably Erin. It was Erin.
But do you remember the day?
The
Come
day?
on, Mister.
No,
I remember everything, and Aaron's memory's crap.
I don't remember everything.
Oh,
I do
okay.
remember.
Oh, but you
important.
remember that.
Because that was very important.
Okay. Oh, this is a deep one. Ready? When did you last feel like giving up, and what pulled you through?
When did I last feel like giving up? Probably when I was going through my whole retirement process, because it was just very draining mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. It was just draining, at least in my opinion, in like every aspect of my life. And going through the retirement process for me was almost more stressful than actually being a cop working in a patrol car. It was just that draining because it was always something. It was always an issue. It was always a meeting or an examination and going to those meetings. And
You're
then
like your deposition.
the deposition was so bad because that lawyer was basically just telling me that I made everything up and I wasn't being legit. So all of that. And then, when you first get injured on duty, you have what they call 4850 pay where you get paid tax free. But once that runs out, it's out. Like you're not getting any pay, and the pay that you do get, it's very much reduced. It's not, I didn't even forget the percentage, but
it was not.
I just remember we were struggling financially because I was not receiving enough money for my family to survive. So it was just, it was very stressful. And then I didn't feel supported at all from anyone at my agency. And now that I think about it, I mean, I keep in contact with some people, but for the most part, during this whole process, nobody, if any command rank or any command position, ever reached out to me, called me to see how I was doing, to see how my family was doing, to see how things were coming along, to see if I needed anything. But that more speaks about the relationship between law enforcement leaders and other things. But that's a different topic. But that was definitely when I felt like it was just too much for me. It was a lot.
So what got you through that?
What got me through that was...
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
What got me through that was...
he rolled his eyes.
Well, seeing a therapist, obviously my family, my wife and my kids, and just knowing that there was no other option. I had no choice but to get through it, and knowing that I would do whatever needed to be done for my family to persevere. So that's what got me through it.
Okay, so I think for me, just one of the hardest times that I've gone through was losing my dad. I think that when my dad passed away, I didn't really grieve initially. I felt like for whatever reason, God was calling me to be strong. And so I feel like my grieving was really delayed. So around the time that I started grieving my father, my mother-in-law passed away. And so then I was faced with the raw emotions of grieving my dad's passing, but then at the same time having my mother-in-law, and we were insanely close, also pass away. So that was rough. That was rough. And yeah, I think that honestly, just leaning on, no one prepares you for the day that your parents die. No one prepares you for that. But I think when you have conversations with other people, or you can find space to have conversations with other people who have lost their parents, it is a lot easier. It is very different than you losing your grandmother or a friend or anything like that. It is very different, right? So you losing your parent, I felt an extreme amount of support from other people who had lost their parents. And I feel like that really helped me to get through, and also helped me to be once was able to grieve my father, it really did help me to be able to support my husband in that way as well, as he was grieving the loss of his mother as well. Okay, that was, woo. Okay, so there's so many good ones. Well, this is one for both of us. How do you plan to share your child's adoption story with them as they continue to grow? So I will say, and we can both, or if you have anything to add or whatever. So if you've listened to previous episodes, so Kaylin obviously knew that she was adopted because she was 4 when we first got her, where Savannah came to us as a newborn, right? So Kaylin and I have had so many conversations, and there's always an open door. I have an open door policy that anytime Kaylin has a question, she can ask. Anytime she has a feeling, she can ask. And whatever we're doing, we will stop and we will address it as long as we're in a place where that can be done, right? With Savannah, we just told her last summer. Was it last summer? Yeah, we just announced this to her last summer that she's adopted. And so even though, Savannah's not Black, I don't think she knew, I guess, or she was unsure because she didn't know anything else. I guess that's a better way to put it. So we had the conversation with her, and at first she was very just quiet and just didn't really know how to respond. And so we just kind of let that be. We've always made it a point to say, hey, your sister, if you don't feel comfortable talking to us, you can always talk to Kaylin, because, we told them that they're not biologically related. And so that you could always be here, and Kaylin would help kind of guide you through this. And Kaylin's super emotional. So, she's a lot like me. She starts to talk. We both start to cry. Savannah is more like him, where she's like looking at us like, why are you crying? It's this constant whatever. But the one thing that I will say is, it's not a secret. It's not a secret. We want them to embrace their journeys, and we love to embrace the fact that our even journey to parenthood is very different than other people, in hopes to inspire other people to adopt as well. But the one thing that I have learned about Savannah, I think we've learned in the last year, is Savannah is at a place where she doesn't want to talk about adoption. She actually gets very upset and angry when we mention adoption. So I can have a conversation about adoption in front of Kaylin, and there's not a big reaction. You have a conversation about adoption in front of Savannah, Savannah's angry. And I think a lot of that is,
I don't think she still fully grasps the concept of adoption. So she doesn't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
she's very also like, I don't want people to treat me differently because, so like she's angry about that. And so I have to respect that. I was having a conversation with some friends, and she was within earshot, and that conversation just really sparked a whole range of emotions that I wasn't ready for. I was embarrassed, but then I felt horrible because I'm like, oh my goodness, this was a boundary for her and I didn't even know it. And so now it's like, I'm glad we had that conversation. Afterwards, we were able to go back, and she's like, I don't want to talk about it in front of people. She knows that we talk about it on the podcast, and she's okay with that. We talk about it at home. We've given her the same thing that we've given Kaylin, which is anytime you have any questions, please ask us. And of course, the younger they are, the more we will sugarcoat. But Kaylin knew, starting off that like her biological mom was sick, and then as she's gotten older and she understands things, she's a teenager now. We talk about that sickness was actually drug use, and so we will never sugarcoat anything, or we will never not talk about it. Let me say that. We will never not talk about it. Our door is always open. It's a huge part of their story. And I want them to also be able to be comfortable one day to share, to use this platform, or another platform to share their journey and to share their story. So,
yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah. They're fully aware. It's never been a secret. So that's all I will say to that.
Good question. And we like questions like this, so keep them coming.
Thought-provoking.
This is a good one. because I think that this one applies. So the question is, how do you manage when one of you is in a winning season and the other isn't? So I feel like this speaks a lot to our
One
marriage.
of us? Okay.
So, and I think that because I'm self-employed and he is not, right? Even retirement, he is on a salary income and he has always been on a salary income. And for the most part, other than the very first part of our relationship, I've been self-employed. And so obviously when you're self-employed, it's like this, right? So right now the economy is crap. Most people's businesses, small businesses are struggling. Some people are doing very well. I don't necessarily define winning though by what my income level is. And I'm not sure if that's what you are referring to in this question, but I think that we do a good job regardless of what it is to balance each other out, whether that be career, whether that be like emotionally, whether that just be life in general, whether that be, we just do a really good job of balancing each other out. So I also feel like there's a lot of times where I feel like I'm at a high and he's at a low. And I think for me, or the other way around, where he's at a high and I'm at a low. But I think that we do a really good job of supporting one another through that, allowing each other to be in the space. Like no one is always going to be here, right? Like it's going to be high, low, high, low, high, low. And so I will just say that I'm super grateful to have a partner like Casey who completely grounds me. I was going to cry. I choked back those tears.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry, I'm choking them back because I don't feel like crying and my mascara running. But yeah, I feel like he completely grounds me and he has never made me feel less than, right? So even in times where maybe income wise, I wasn't producing, I never have had to worry about him being hard on me because I'm hard enough on myself, honestly. But he has grounded me in that. And like, he's been an amazing provider, an amazing supporter in everything. So.
Yeah. I do think we do a good job of supporting each other when one person's winning. Yeah. I don't know if they're really referring to money, but financially, that's never been an issue for us because I'm not even that type of person that would like make anyone feel bad because she wasn't producing income that she thought she would. I know how being self-employed is. I know how there are a lot of ups and downs. There are times where you are making more money than you're not. And that's just how it is being self-employed. So you have to be okay with that. You have to understand that. And I'm perfectly fine with that. And I think we do a good job of supporting each other in that way.
I agree. All right. What's the funniest parenting moment you've experienced so far? Okay, I have one. Disclaimer language here. So we have cameras and I'll speak for me. I don't necessarily, yes, this was a parenting moment, but okay. So there is no secret that I can have a little bit of a potty mouth. And so as you know, when you have a potty mouth and then you have kids, then they pick up on all of the things that you say that you shouldn't say. And so I'm always like, there's no secret. Kaylin, I know you go to school and I know you cuss. And she's always like, no, I don't. And I'm like, Savannah, I know you go to school and you cuss. No, I don't. And so I don't know. I actually feel like with Kaylin that she doesn't cuss. Savannah, on the other hand, I mean, y'all see Savannah's personality. She's super spicy. So there was this one day where the kids had got into a fight, I think, and we went back and watched it on the camera, not knowing. I think Kaylin was like, oh, Savannah hit me and cussed me out. And I don't remember what they were fighting over. But it was one of those times, you know, when your kids say things to you, but you're like, I should not laugh, but it'd be hecka funny. Okay, so do you remember that time when they were fighting in the room and then Savannah, remember, because we sent it to your sister and stuff, and I don't remember exactly what, but Savannah was like on Kaylin. And I think they were fighting over like the phone or something like that. They're always fighting over the phone. Kaylin has a phone, Savannah doesn't have a phone. So Savannah always thinks like if we're not home that she has equal rights to the phone. And so I think it was over the phone and they were fighting. And then Savannah
I know exactly what she
unloads
said
on Kaylin. And she's like, she's just like, give me the phone, give me the phone. Then it turned into, give me the effing phone. But actually the word drops the F-bomb. And then she like hits her and then she calls her a B. It's
She said, "Give me the effing phone, you B."
Oh, that's what she said.
That's what
Give
she
me
said.
the effing phone, you B. And I was like,
yes, Savannah.
okay. So then Kaylin tells us like this whole thing. Oh, Savannah cussed her out and all of this stuff. And then it got physical after that. So we go in and we're like trying to find it on the camera because this fight happened. And then we watched the video and it was like, I couldn't help but to like, oh my God, it was such like this moment where we're like, we have to address this.
But it was funny as hell at the same time.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it just showed like, these are, you know what I mean? Like this is normal, you know, sibling, whatever. But it was hilarious to hear Savannah talking that way. But then at the same time, it was not funny. And I had to like really explain. And then I'm like, where did you learn those words from? She was like, from you. And I was like, oh, shoot. Like,
and for her to use those words in the proper context, I was proud a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I was proud. I was like, oh,
7.
She cussed her out pretty good.
I was
cool.
Like, oh my goodness. And Kaylin, you know, she's so sensitive. And so, but, you know, it was one of those things where we had to address it and address it from a stern face. But then to this day, we laugh about it. But we laugh about it from a point of view of don't you ever use those words again. And we still catch Savannah, you know, with her, all her glory, dropping the F-bomb. And I have to tell her that is a grown folks word. You were not allowed to use that word. So stop using it. But I'm not going to be one of those parents who think that my kid is an angel and doesn't drop the F-bomb or cuss or anything else. Because there's a lot of parents out there who think that their kids don't say things, you know, but the reality is
living in Delulu land. You think your kids don't curse at school.
Okay, there was another one that I loved, and let me find it on my list of questions.
That's crazy. I would have never thought to say something like that when I was Savannah's age.
Ooh, but at the same time, we also, I mean, I guess baby monitors and stuff were a thing, but, you know, we also didn't have cameras, you know, the way. And so that's, you know, it is what it is. But like, ooh, I got to be careful what I say because Savannah's mouth.
Savannah is spicy.
She is spicy.
Extra spicy.
Okay, I can't find the question specifically, but what it said was, if you could go back to one trip that like we did together that was so amazing for whatever reason, what trip would that be?
Our honeymoon?
Oh, good answer. Tell me more. Tell us more.
It was just a good trip. We went to Maui, obviously before kids, and we really just got to love on each other. We got to do a lot of things and then just explore Hawaii all by ourselves. So we went parasailing. I think we even went zip lining. You know, we ate at a lot of great restaurants, and we do what newly married people do. So it was just a great time. Like I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed everything about it. It was just nice. And we did it in Maui. So what better background for a honeymoon than being on a nice Hawaiian island like Maui?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I definitely think that we've done a lot of fun little excursions, especially before kids. I definitely think me and you, our honeymoon was bars. Not only did we go to Maui, but we were in the Ritz-Carlton right on the beach. They upgraded us. I mean, we already had a fantastic room, but then they upgraded us because it was our honeymoon. And I think that there was like a lot of bucket list items that we did. Like I always wanted to parasail, but I was terrified. And I did it and I'll never do it again.
The water was so clear.
Yeah, we're actually about to go to Hawaii again. And I was like, there's one thing I will not do. It is parasail. But I did it on our honeymoon. It was fun until you're up in the air and you can look down and the water's so clear and you could see the fish and the sharks and all of those things. And then you tell the guy who's driving the boat, you tell him, please don't dip me in the water. And he dips you in the water anyway. So, you know, yeah. But we did it and it was fun. We did zip lining through like, it wasn't the forest, but like the rainforest. That was super fun. We ate, we drank, we laid out on the beach. We had lots of sex. I mean, it was amazing.
It was a good time. There was nothing about it that I disliked. It was great.
We're off to Hawaii soon, so we're super excited about that. With no children, this will be the first time that we, since kids, that we've been away for longer than a week, longer than 4 days. This will be the first time. So we definitely, now that our kids are older, it's a lot easier to leave them and feel comfortable leaving them. So super excited about that. And a large part of that, I know you guys are thinking like, oh my goodness, this is the first time. But I just want to remind you all that we went through foster to adopt. So when you go through a process such as foster to adopt, you can't just leave your kids with anyone. You have to leave your kids with, either like court approved and put them in another foster home, or it really has to be someone who your social worker is like, okay, so for the first, 3 or 4 years of kids, we really couldn't do that even if we wanted to do that. So we did a lot of family vacations and stuff like that. But don't worry, they're fully ours now. So
we went to Disneyland a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot of family
in state.
But I'm someone who loves those times too. You know what I mean? Our family trips, I think we're all Disney freaks and we all have fun. All of us, every single one of us.
We had season passes. So we were going three times a year, 4 times a year. It was good times though.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, do you guys even have to, who's more dramatic when sick? Okay, well, actually, no, this isn't I will say when it is the stomach virus, I wouldn't say I'm more dramatic, but I would say, yes, I'm worse when it's anything stomach. I have this thing where I have a fear of vomiting and the smell of vomiting. So you guys are probably going to think this is weird, but when I vomit or whatever, I pass out. Is that true?
I don't recall you passing out.
You found me on the floor. Do you remember that time and I hit my head on the bathtub downstairs?
Yeah.
I passed out, right?
Was that from vomiting?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think when it comes to stuff like that, because I'm very weird, even when the kids are sick, if there's vomit involved, I don't want to have anything to do with it because I can't deal with the smell. And so that stuff makes me whatever. I mean, I'm definitely in general the most dramatic person out of the two of us. But if Casey has a man cold, the world has ended. He literally, and I think this is just men. When men get sick, they turn into the biggest helpless, I can't do anything. Oh, you'll be like, oh my gosh, you have a fever. It's 99.2. And then you'll be bundled up in the bed and unable to do anything. Where I feel like as women, we just, we got a fever. We still got kids. We just figure it out. You disagree? I mean, you're looking at me like you disagree.
What? Okay, so I can't be sick.
No, you could be sick. But
I'm not. I don't think that I'm needy though. I do a lot of.
Oh, you were completely needy when you're sick.
How so?
You're needy. You can't do anything. I have to go do everything for you.
The thing,
and then your recovery is
I think the things that you talking about I would do, I feel like anybody would do that for their spouse though.
Yeah, but I feel like for me when I'm sick, it's I gotta
still
pick up.
No, you need medicine. If you need this, I feel like you do that for me just the same way I do that for you.
Okay. All right.
So we agree?
We agree.
Yeah, you heard it. We agree.
All right, let's do 2 more. And then we'll have to do a part 2 since there's so many great ones here. Oh, this is one where it's would you rather cook together or order in? Depends.
Yeah, it depends. Depends on, there's certain things that I feel comfortable cooking, and there's certain stuff that I wouldn't dare try to cook because I don't want to mess it up.
No, they're saying would you rather us, would we rather cook together or would we rather order in? So it depends. If I'm in the mood for sushi, we're going to order in. There's nights where we do a lot of date night at home and we'll just order in.
I like them both. But yeah, I guess like she said, the best answer is depends. Just depends on what kind of mood that we're in.
Oh my God, this is funny. Do you guys have a code word or inside joke you use to survive awkward or stressful situations together? Okay, this is hilarious. So I will just say this. So I was a 911 dispatcher. He's obviously a retired police officer. So obviously we know phonetically the alphabet, right? And the same phonetic alphabet because we worked in the same department. So there are so many times that we will use phonetics. If we want to say something, we will either talk in code, an actual radio code. And here's one that's funny. So like we will say, like if my stomach's hurting, let's say we're out or whatever, and this could really be anything from a safety perspective or just whatever, but we'll use code 33, right? And code 33 means like emergency, right? So, I mean, it could be anything. It could be, oh my God, I'm not feeling good. I'm going to go to the bathroom. We're out double dating or whatever with other people. And I'll go to the bathroom and he'll be like, are you code 4? Meaning, am I okay? And I'll be like, no, code 33. Like, and he knows that means it's all bad what's happening. You know what I mean? Or if we are, you know, from a safety perspective, if we're out and something's happening, or, you know, that is a really nice thing about us. Like we can talk in full code and have a whole sentence and I will know exactly what he means and he will know exactly what I mean. The phonetics is funny though, because Kaylin has caught on. So we cannot, you know, before your kids could spell and read, you would just spell things, right? So obviously we couldn't do that because Kaylin would be like, oh, that means, you know, oh, you just spelled this. But then we would do it phonetically.
She figured it out.
We will have full
you
sentences.
hear it so much, she starts.
Full sentences, like, I'm trying to think of like something that we can do that would be like a full sentence. Like if I wanted to go to, I mean, we wouldn't go to Dave and Buster's by ourselves or something, but like if we wanted to go to the Strip and we wouldn't want the kids to go, I would be like, do you want to go to Sam, Tom, Robert, Ida, Paul?
Yeah.
You want to go there? And the kids would always be like, what? You know what I mean? And he would be like, yeah, let's go. You know, and they'd be like, I want to go. Where is that? But then Kaylin started picking it up. So now we do it, but sometimes we do it backwards because her brain doesn't process that way. Or if we are like, we see someone and we're just like out and we just want to make fun, we'll describe that person in like code. And that'll be funny too because people are always like, what are you guys talking about?
I mean, we have code stuff for a lot of stuff. Like even when we're trying to be alone in our room, we're like, oh, let's go have a meeting in our room or something. Just
but the kids have figured that out now. Because Savannah will be like, oh, you want to go touch mommy? and then he'll like grab my butt or something and she'll be like, get your hand off of mommy. That was one of the first times, Kaylin, because I was like, let's go have some Sam Edward X-ray. And Kaylin was like, what? You guys are going to go have sex? I'm like, Kaylin, you don't even know what that means. Ew, that is disgusting. Like, do not do that to mommy. I'm like, girl, mind your business. Okay, let's do one more. Let's see. That was hilarious. No.
Hilarious, but no.
There was one good one at the top. Hold on. Oh, should we do a serious? It's a marriage one. Okay. How has your communication evolved since the beginning of your relationship? You want me to go first? I like to talk a lot, so if you would like to go, you're more than welcome.
I would say the big thing is we're probably just a lot more straightforward. I know I'm a lot more straightforward, but then I'm also one to pick and choose my battles, and everything doesn't have to be, it doesn't need to be a conversation or some drawn out communication for every single item or every single issue. So I think a lot of it's just being straightforward when you need to, but I'm also this is not worth it because this has the potential to be turned into something bigger than what it is. So sometimes the best thing is to not say nothing and just to leave it alone. So that's what I would say.
So I definitely think that when you are brand new in a relationship, you have to learn how to communicate. Yeah. And I think that was hard for us. And when you think about things like divorce or just even issues that most people have communication issues, and that's really in any relationship. But when you're married or you're in a long-term relationship with someone and you're constantly around that person, of course, your communication is going to lack in certain areas. And so I feel like for us, thankfully, when we used to have very bad communication issues, we went to therapy and we were able to get through it, and we were able to learn strategies on how to more effectively communicate with each other. And I know a lot of that for me was learned when we were fighting, right? So when you're fighting, how do you communicate? And so I think now, of course, we still have, just yesterday we had like this. I felt like he talked to me a certain way and he was looking at me like, what are you even talking about? And I walked away and I took a moment, and then we went back and forth a little bit. And he was like, I didn't mean anything by that. And the old me would have been like, oh, yes, you did. And blah, blah, blah. And but the reality is he said he didn't mean anything by it. And I perceived that differently than what his intention was in the conversation. It was easy for me now to be like, okay, you said sorry. Like, let's move on. Where I feel like before we used to just argue about stuff that wasn't even arguable. Is that a word?
I don't know. You've been having a lot of those today. Arguable.
So.
Electronical.
But with that being said, I just think that like time and just having a lot of conversations, and I mean, we're just different as you grow, and also as you get older, you just learn. And I agree with you. Like some things are worth not even fighting over, some things I've learned to bite my tongue. I'm someone who doesn't bite my tongue often. I'm usually the most outspoken person there is, but I have learned, now in my 43 years of living that everything that I think does not need to be spoken out loud. And it took me a while to get there, but I definitely have gotten there, and I bite my tongue a lot. So, I would agree with you as well that, not everything has to be spoken on, Some things it's okay to keep to yourself.
And that goes, and I know I've told you that, but that applies to anyone in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
And I tell this even to the kids. I'm like, just because you think something doesn't mean you have to say it out loud all the time. Like, any thought, anything you think, like there's some times where I'm like, I want to say this, but I'm not, because I don't want it to blow up.
Being taken out of context.
Yeah.
Than what you mean it to be.
Yeah. So it's just better. Like, it's not really worth it. The things where you feel like, I need to say this, I need to get this off my chest, go ahead and say it. But the things where you're just like, it's not that big of a deal. If you can let it just roll off your back and just keep moving, then that's what I would suggest you do. Just let it roll off your back and keep moving, because it's not worth it. Life's too short.
Yeah, there's a time and a place, right? So
yeah,
just be aware of your surroundings. Not everything needs to be talked about right then and there. I'm someone who has learned to sometimes hold on to things and then address them when the time is more appropriate, So the best time I lied. But I was going to say the best time to address things, in my opinion, in this case, the best time to address hard conversations is after sex. Because you're both feeling, don't address them before, because it will not end pretty.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's been times where we're laying in bed and, we know what's going to come, and then I'll bring up a hard subject, and before you know it, I'm turning over one way, you turning over the one way, and, you got blue balls, and I'm just, over here. So I'm just saying, like, there's a time and there's a place, right? In anything. And I'm not just saying with sex, but I've just learned that there's a time and a place. And I think we've answered that. But if you need more, then let us know. And we will definitely, on our part 2, address that a little bit more.
And the time is not in the morning when I first wake up.
For you. But for me, we can have deep conversations in the morning.
I don't want to wake up and then immediately start talking about something deep. Like, my brain is still loading, so I don't even have the capacity to even answer any questions or have any logical thoughts when I just woke up.
Okay, so we totally love your questions. So as you guys think of them, send them to us, and we will definitely answer. I know it's been a while since we've done a Q&A session, but we would love to do these more. In addition, We are going to do something fun and exciting. We are going to put a link on our Instagram. So make sure you guys are following us on Instagram. It's This Beautiful Struggle Pod on Instagram. We are going to put a link up where you guys can submit anonymously anything you want, any funny stories, any romance stories, any advice that you want. You know, KC, he is the expert when it comes to what a woman needs. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, anything that you want, if you know, because sometimes it's like you don't want us to know, you just want to submit, right? So we would love to like talk about those things. So please make sure you guys go and submit all of the things on our anonymous link. But thank you all for supporting us and watching us every week. We appreciate y'all.
We appreciate it. And please like, share, subscribe. Bye.
He's like, deuces.
Peace. Bye.